This Xbox Activision Blizzard deal is going to be under a lot more scrutiny, and Phil Spencer talks about the future of Call of Duty and more games hitting Xbox Game Pass in the future. There's a ton here to talk about, so let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? This is Randall419, the man with the million, back again with another video. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. If you guys can do me a huge favor, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and please share this out on social media. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the continued support. You remember when I said maybe 2 months ago that I was sick of talking about this Activision Blizzard deal? Well, that has certainly changed, because it's gotten really spicy. Last month, we had heard about what Sony was saying to the Brazilian regulators about how Call of Duty was this must-have franchise, and how I thought they were a little bit worried about Xbox having Call of Duty and putting it into Xbox Game Pass. Well, the UK has kind of given their initial findings on this potential merger, and it certainly seems like it to me that they are protecting PlayStation's #1 spot in gaming. It really does seem to me that Sony's out there behind the scenes telling each and every government regulator how Microsoft owning Call of Duty, Diablo, Blizzard, and Candy Crush is bad for them and bad for their position in the gaming industry, not so much how it harms the gaming industry, and you will definitely see what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of text to read through. We're going to get to what Phil Spencer had to say about this when he responded to what this group had to say. So all the links will be in the description, and let's go. So, the Competition and Markets Authority confirmed last month that it had opened an investigation into the $68.7 billion deal, the game industry's biggest ever by far, to determine whether it's a fair one. After gathering feedback from third parties with an interest in the proposed deal, the CMA said on Thursday that it has a number of outstanding concerns that must be addressed. Now, if you recall, during the Brazilian Commission, they talked to all the significant third parties in the video game industry, from Ubisoft to Google to Amazon to Warner Brothers and Sony, and pretty much all of them, except PlayStation, said that the Activision Blizzard merger is really no big deal, that Call of Duty is competition not only on console but on PC, and you get the sense from everybody else in the industry that they're okay with it going through. However, Sony had some choice words to say, so I do wonder if Jim Ryan's on the phone with his buddies, his lobbyists at the CMA, trying to get this deal stalled, or potentially trying to get this deal completely blocked. Because this deal getting blocked is probably what's best for business for PlayStation. So in its summary of phase 1 of its investigation, the CMA said it is, quote, concerned that if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, it could harm rivals, including recent and future entrants into gaming, by refusing them access to Activision Blizzard games or providing access on much worse terms. Now that's interesting to think about. And who are Microsoft's rivals? Well, at least the CMA says it's PlayStation, and they go on and on talking about PlayStation in this document, but you can make the argument that Nintendo is one of their rivals. The Nintendo Switch sells more consoles than anybody, and I can't even think the last time they actually had a Call of Duty game on their system. So not having Call of Duty on your system really doesn't harm you, does it? I don't know. We're going to continue on here. Quote, following our phase 1 investigation, we are concerned that Microsoft could use its control over popular games like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft post-merger to harm rivals, including recent and future rivals in multi-game subscription services and cloud gaming. If our current concerns are not addressed, we plan to explore this deal in an in-depth phase 2 investigation to reach a decision that works in the interests of UK gamers and businesses. The CMA has also received evidence about the potential impact of combining Activision Blizzard with Microsoft's broader ecosystem. Microsoft already has a leading gaming console, Xbox. Well, do they actually have a leading gaming console? They're constantly made fun of for being in last place. In fact, when you look at last generation, the Xbox One sold less than 60 million units. The PlayStation 4 sold 120 million units, and the Nintendo Switch right now is about 112, so do they really have a leading gaming console when they're actually third place in a market that only has 3 competitors? But either way, a leading cloud platform in Azure, and the leading PC operating system Windows, all of which could be important to its success in cloud gaming. The CMA is concerned that Microsoft could leverage Activision Blizzard's games together with Microsoft's strength across console, cloud, and PC operating systems to damage competition in the nascent market for cloud gaming services. Now this is the start of where it gets really juicy. In a 35-point summary explaining its decision to potentially start a second phase of inquiry if its concerns aren't addressed, the CMA cited numerous potential issues, most notably the impact the deal could have on Sony's ability to compete. According to the regulator, this impact could be most felt during the launch of the next PlayStation console, when users could opt to purchase a new Xbox instead, should franchises become exclusive. And when I picture this, I just get a sense of Jim Ryan on the phone talking to somebody at the CMA and saying, Xbox owning Call of Duty just isn't fair. Quote, the CMA is concerned that having full control over this powerful catalog, especially in light of Microsoft's already strong position in gaming consoles, operating systems, and cloud infrastructure, could result in Microsoft harming consumers by impairing Sony's, Microsoft's closest gaming rival, ability to compete. And this is where the rubber hits the road, because the idea of Microsoft making this acquisitions, whether it's Bethesda or anything else, the whole point is to get exclusive content for your ecosystem. Obviously, Xbox is competing with PlayStation, and they use those games as sort of bullets. It's a reason why maybe one person would choose a system over another. But the idea here that Microsoft having full control of the catalog is bad because it would harm consumers, because it harms PlayStation, to me is just absurd. In fact, Phil Spencer will talk about this later. How does this necessarily harm consumers when Microsoft is essentially going to put these games into a subscription service, we'll be able to play them cheaper than ever before and actually make them wider available than ever before by having them on PC, console, smart TVs, iOS and Android, the mobile market. It's just kind of insane to me. The CMA believes that in the short to medium term, the main rival that could be affected by this conduct would be Sony. Evidence suggests that Microsoft and Sony compete closely with each other in terms of content, target audience, and console technology. PlayStation currently has a larger share of the console gaming market than Xbox, but the CMA considers that Call of Duty is sufficiently important that losing access to it, or losing access on competitive terms, could significantly impact Sony's revenues and user base. The impact is likely to be felt especially at the launch of next generation of consoles, where gamers make fresh decisions about which console to buy. The CMA believes that the merger could, therefore, significantly weaken Microsoft's closest rival to the detriment of overall competition in console gaming. And here's the thing I don't really understand. How does a stronger Microsoft hurt consumers because it affects Sony's revenues and user base? How is that a bad thing? Isn't that competition? Isn't that what people wanted Microsoft to go out there and compete? And when they decided to do it, you have Sony freaking out because Call of Duty is so important to them. And now you have the CMA saying this could be bad for consumers because Sony's revenues and user base could drop. But then nobody wants to talk about what Sony's been doing, how they're using their position as the market leader to basically get deals that would cost more for Xbox. Final Fantasy VII Remake, for example, Street Fighter V last gen. The Street Fighter V exclusivity basically destroyed the fighting game genre on Xbox and really hurt Xbox's ability to compete with PlayStation, but it's accepted for Sony to do these things. In fact, it's cheered when Sony gets timed exclusivity for games like Knights of the Old Republic or Final Fantasy 16 or Deathloop or Ghostwire Tokyo. Nobody bats an eye. But here the CMA is like, you know what? Owning Call of Duty might be bad for the industry and consumers because PlayStation is going to make less money. I just don't understand that. I don't understand how competing in this manner and PlayStation being weakened is somehow detrimental to the entire industry to the point where you have to investigate it. The report also argues that Microsoft could use its ownership of the Activision Blizzard library to foreclose or harm its rivals, including Sony, by making them available on Game Pass. As the market for multi-game subscription gaming services grows, Microsoft could use its control over Activision Blizzard content to foreclose its rivals, including recent and future entrants into gaming, as well as more established players such as Sony. Well, isn't that the whole point when you buy a studio and you use those games to make it exclusive? It harms other players in the industry, but nobody says it's a monopoly. Like, Sony's out there investing, buying all these different studios like Haas Marquee and Bluepoint. They just bought Bungie. Does that impact Microsoft? Of course it does, because any games from any of the studios that Sony acquires in the future won't be coming to Xbox. So this idea that it's bad for Microsoft to leverage Activision Blizzard because it might harm Sony, even though Sony is harming Xbox by doing all these third-party exclusivity deals, is really weird to me. And it really does seem, when you read this entire report, it almost seems like the CMA is trying to defend Sony's #1 position in the UK gaming market rather than actually look out for consumers and the market itself. Now, a couple hours after the CMA made their judgment, Phil Spencer had a blog post. Clearly, they knew what the CMA was going to say. And this is what it says, although you should probably read itself because Phil kind of throwing shots a little bit at everybody in this article, but very subtly. Basically, this whole article is a response to the CMA and how them owning Activision Blizzard is actually good for the industry. It's good for consumers because price points will lower, and it's good because they'll bring games to more places. Phil says here, we're expanding choice in 2 ways: through the creation of Xbox Game Pass, which gives players a subscription option, and by bringing more games to mobile platforms, including through our cloud gaming streaming technology. Subscription services like Game Pass make gaming more affordable and help players from all over the world find their next favorite game. Game Pass empowers developers to bring more games to more players, not fewer. We intend to make Activision Blizzard's much-loved library of games, including Overwatch, Diablo, and Call of Duty, available in Game Pass, and to grow those gaming communities. By delivering even more value to players, we hope to continue growing Game Pass, extending its appeal to mobile phones and any connected device. Bringing more games to mobile platforms, however, requires new capabilities. The expertise that the teams at Activision Blizzard bringing in developing games for mobile platforms will help us understand how to create games that engage players around the world. In addition, we hope that players will be eager to play traditional console games from Activision Blizzard on other platforms via our cloud gaming streaming technology. This promises to open up mobile gaming, creating new distribution opportunities for game developers outside of mobile app stores, while delivering compelling and immersive experiences for players by using the power of the cloud. And we can extend the joy of playing to devices that people already own, including smart TVs and laptops. In doing so, we will pursue a principled path. We've heard this deal might take franchises like Call of Duty away from the places where people currently play them. That's why, as we've said before, we are committed to making the same version of Call of Duty available on PlayStation on the same day the game launches elsewhere. We will continue to enable people to play with each other across platforms and across devices. We know players benefit from this approach because we've done it with Minecraft, which continues to be available on multiple platforms and has expanded to even more since Mojang joined Microsoft in 2014. We will continue to engage with regulators with the spirit of transparency and openness as they review this acquisition. We respect and welcome the hard questions that are being asked. The gaming industry today is robust and dynamic. Industry leaders, including Tencent and Sony, interesting choice there, industry leaders Tencent and Sony, #1 and #2 in terms of revenue, and they also just bought a stake in From Software, who put out the biggest game of the year, Elden Ring. They continue to expand their deep and extensive libraries of games as well as other entertainment brands and franchises, which are enjoyed by players everywhere. Basically, Phil's saying here that Tencent and Sony are going to continue to go on buying sprees. So why shouldn't Microsoft be able to go on a buying spree. We believe that a thorough review will show that the combination of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard will benefit the industry and players. The thing I really picked up about all this is how the arguments the CMA are making are almost virtually similar to some of the things the Brazilian Commission was saying. And we know, like I said in the beginning of the video, that most of the third-party publishers out there have no problems with this deal whatsoever. It's only really one company that has a problem with it, and that's PlayStation. And it becomes really apparent when you read the CMA's findings that the CMA is quite protective of Sony. They mentioned PlayStation over and over again in this document and how Microsoft controlled Activision Blizzard, it would harm PlayStation, which sure, maybe it will, not having Call of Duty, but then again, they will have Call of Duty because Phil says it's actually going to be on PlayStation day and date with the Xbox version. I just really never thought we'd kind of see this back and forth where you get a sense of what PlayStation's feeling like, that this is bad for them, and they're gonna go behind the scenes and lobby to the governments being like, this is actually really bad for the market, even though it's actually really bad for them, but they're gonna try to spin it that way, and Microsoft countering everything Sony has to say, and Phil Spencer putting on this front today, basically detailing to everybody how this acquisition is actually good, not only for consumers in the industry, but for developers as well. So thank you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and as always, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new, share this out on social media, hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.